everyone. So hopefully I'm in frame for this. I'm doing a really close-up one just because I don't like the background of where I'm staying at right now. I'm going to start off with I got out of the military. With that being said, I got out in May of this year, of 2021, and I am transitioning into being a full-time student this coming fall. So a little bit of background on me if you haven't seen any of my videos, which I don't expect you to because I made them almost 2 or 3 years ago, so those are irrelevant now. I was active duty for 5 years and I was a hospital corpsman in the Navy, which meant that I did medical for basically all of the Navy and on the Marine Corps. Not me myself in particular, obviously, corpsman rating. I wanted to do this video because a lot of people don't know about this side of transitioning out of the military, and people that are thinking about getting out of the military and they're not sure what their next step is. They do want to go to college and pursue a degree, but they don't know how the steps go to. Now, this video might not be informative for you because you already have a plan or whatever, but I still wanted to make a video on how veterans or active duty are transitioning into being civilians, veterans, and then going into school as a full-time student and maybe a little bit older. I started my school journey in 2017 while still in Japan. I was about I want to say I was turning 20. It was a big thing because I was working 40 hours a week and then I was also doing school on top of that. I was only doing one class, but it was still different for me because I graduated high school and then I was working up until I left for boot camp, and then I went to boot camp and then core school, which is in San Antonio, Texas. School came really easy to me in high school and in core school, which was A school. I personally, for me, did not find anything that was going to challenge me. However, in high school, I did try AP classes, which I don't recommend for anybody. Anybody that has ever done AP classes, say don't do it. I still did it because I didn't know. I just didn't know how to study and how to apply myself. And although that I got through high school, I got through A school, which is a rigorous course, I did it all through not studying, which do not recommend for anybody at all. So now I'm trying to make myself better now that I'm older and now that I'm wiser. I know that I need to study in order to get a bachelor's and eventually a master's degree. I started school in 2017 and I was just going to get my gen eds. I just wanted to get my associate's degree and I didn't know how long that was going to take. I was just going to start. So I started University of Maryland Global Campus. I only did like 2 or 3 classes through there and then I got back to the United States. Wasn't going to school. For about 6 months I didn't go to school. I was just trying to focus on my other training that I had for going to field med, which I did do a video on, which is very long and kind of rambly, which I apologize for. This is probably going to be the same. Anyway, I'm really trying to be more precise here. I transferred to a different school called American Military University or American Public University System, and I have done most of my classes through there. With online classes, it's easier, but it's also harder because you have to be very self-disciplined and know when you want to do your classes, do them on time and not fall behind. Now, I did see that when I worked full-time and I had any dull time in my work since I was active duty, I was getting paid regardless if I was just sitting there or if I was on my phone or if I was doing homework. So I chose to do homework while there was like a lull. Obviously not in the civilian sector you can do that, but in the military they're paying you regardless on whether you are cleaning or whatever. So like I said, I chose to do school and people encouraged it. My contract wasn't supposed to end until January 2022, so I still technically would still be active duty. However, with the hospital corpsman rating, it's huge. There's a lot of people in it because a lot of people want to do medical, and therefore it makes it hard for people to advance, which if you're not familiar with that, which I'm sure if you're watching this video you're probably active duty and already transitioning out of the military, but for if you don't know and if you're just watching this, there is different ranking systems, and in the Navy it's different than all the other branches. You have to take a test in order to advance to the next rank. So E1 through E3 is automatic rank up, and then from E3 to E4 you have to take a test and you have to pass a certain threshold to go up to. So it's very hard to advance in the Navy as a hospital corpsman. Other rates or other jobs are different, but for the Navy or for the for corpsman rating, it was different. I did not see myself doing a military career, and so that motivated me to get out early. With the corpsman rating, like I said, there's a lot of people in it, so it makes it harder for people to advance. So they made a program called Early Transition Program. It's called EETP, which is, I'll put it up right here because I cannot remember at the top of my head right now. It's an early transition program that you can get out. It's specific to the Navy, and different rates have them, but specifically for me, for the corpsman, there was one. So you basically had to put in a date that you wanted to get out before September 1st. I started applying to colleges in January of 2021 of this year, but I put in my package September, October timeframe, and it took about 4 months to get approved. With that package, you had to prove that you were wanting to go to school. You weren't just gonna get out of the military because you wanted to. You had to have a purpose. For me, going to school was a purpose. I was already going to classes. I continued to show my leadership that I wanted to go to college. I couldn't do that being active duty. I did a lot of research and I gave them everything that I needed. I showed the class schedule that I wanted to start and all of the things that makes me want to go to college. So I provided all that information, and then I also wanted to be proactive on me getting out. Not only was I applying to schools, I was applying for the VA service-connected disabilities, which I can get into if you want to know on a certain timeline or any tips that I would have for you. I'm not saying that I'm not going to give you any advice on how to get a certain amount of disability. That's not what I'm saying. I'm saying that if you have something that you need to talk to your provider about and it get documented, then when you're getting out, you can put that on there, and it's up to the VA if they have it as a service-connected disability. But I can make a whole video on that if you want me to. It's only going to be advice on when to file it, who to contact, and I can go like a breakdown on how to do that, because a lot of people ask me as well on that. I applied to 3 schools. I applied to Brown University, which is an Ivy League school. I honestly was just shooting for the stars at that point, and you know, I didn't get in. But you know what? It's kind of a blessing in disguise because they didn't even have the program that I wanted. They had public health, and I'm getting a healthcare administration degree, so they didn't even have a bachelor's in what I wanted. So oh well. I also applied to Roger Williams University. Didn't finish that application because I actually got into one of the first schools I actually applied to, which was Salve Regina, which is in Newport, Rhode Island, and I'm super excited to start there in the fall. A couple of things before I get into Salve Regina and being 24 and going back to college and being an undergrad student. First things first, you have to look at your JST, which is your Joint Service Transcript. That right there will give you a list of credits that are considered a college credits. As a corpsman, and as that I went through certain training that was field med, that gave me, I want to say at least 20 credits, which is all elective. So that's kind of like out of the way for me. And then all the other classes that I took when I was at University of Maryland, Global Campus, and then also when I was at AMU, which I don't want to discredit AMU. It's a great school. It has 8-week courses all year round, which is great. I love it, and it's super cheap. It's like $7.50 for each class. I was able to take 2 classes during the summer, and I was able to transfer them over to Salve. I love AMU. It's just online, and I feel like I would learn better at an in-person school. That's literally why I am doing in-person, is because I feel like I learn better. With the JST, you have to find out what works best with your program. If you aren't at all medical and you want to go into a medical degree, you'll probably have a hard time trying to transfer those credits. I'm not saying that it won't transfer, but for me, I was able to transfer a lot of my credits because I was going not in the same field like nursing or anything, but I was going into healthcare administration, which a lot of the classes that I took have revolved around that. So I'm not saying to get discouraged on if you are, aviation rate and you really want to become a nurse. I'm not saying that your JST won't transfer at all. I would just say that I would look into it more on what could transfer, and you just have to maybe take more classes, which it's not a big deal in the retrospect of things. In order for you to get your GI Bill, which is a hot topic right now, I'm sure, your post 9/11 GI Bill. Now, in boot camp, I signed up for the Montgomery GI Bill, and that was it. Didn't ask any questions. I sent $100 each month for a whole year, so then it's $1,200 and I'm locked in or whatever. What I didn't know is that you can transfer over to post 9/11 whenever you want if you had applied for the Montgomery GI Bill. So don't get discouraged. A Montgomery GI Bill is a little bit different than post 9/11. The Montgomery GI Bill pays you directly, and then you have to pay the school, so you're essentially the middleman, and then whatever's left over, I believe you get to keep or your stipend. With the post 9/11, it's a lot more fluid, so the school contacts the VA, and then the VA pays the school, and then the VA pays you a monthly stipend. For me, that's a little bit easier, honestly, and you have to serve at least 36 months or 3 years of, I believe, active duty. I'm not sure about reservists, but definitely 36 months of active duty. You'll be 100% eligible for 36 months of education. What I didn't think about was 36 months does not mean 3 full years of school. School has semesters, and they have about 16-week semesters. So if you really think about it, you can get more than just your bachelor's degree if you did school during your active duty time, which I'm very thankful that I was able to do school while I was active duty. That way it kind of propelled me into being in the situation where I can get my master's with my GI Bill. That's a whole nother topic. The GI Bill only pays about a certain percentage. I can't think of it at the top of my head. Do remember to put this in the video. I'll put it up somewhere. But the GI Bill will only cover a certain percentage. So if you're going to public school, it shouldn't be an issue. But if you're going to a private school, which I am going to a private school, look into the Yellow Ribbon program, which most schools do. If the GI Bill doesn't cover all of it, the Yellow Ribbon will cover the rest of it. So you essentially don't have to pay for school. It's just, you just have to find those things, and the VA, the GI Bill post 9/11 calculator, if you put in the school that you want to go to, it shows you the yearly cost of tuition, the monthly stipend that you would be getting for BAH, and then if it's a Yellow Ribbon school and if it's private, all those things, and then it kind of breaks it down. So I definitely recommend that website if you haven't known about it before. So I'll link it down below if you haven't heard of it, which I'm sure you have, especially if you're already in the process of transitioning out of the military. So for me, I have the GI Bill, I have the Yellow Ribbon program, and then as well for my GPA through AMU, I was able to get a presidential scholarship through Salve, which, you know, means that the Yellow Ribbon program doesn't pay as much. It's only like $3,500 per semester. So I mean, it does add up $7,000 that I don't have to pay for. It's just kind of how it adds up. You don't have to get a scholarship. I was just awarded that whenever I got accepted to this school. All in all, at the end of the day, you don't have to pay for anything if you served at least 36 months and you have the 100% eligibility of doing a GI Bill. If the school is Yellow Ribbon certified, and if you're doing an undergrad degree. I know that if you're going through your master's, doctorate, there's different thresholds in how many people can get those. For undergrad, it's usually unlimited, and for me, I think there's only like 12 GI Bill students for the whole school. It's just something to consider. Like I said earlier, I did do summer classes for AMU. I just did that because I got out in May and I knew I was starting school in September, but I also wanted to take classes in between that time. I needed time to have the summer to myself and not transition straight out of active duty and then going straight into school. I needed time to get my DD 214, submit that into the VA, to get my disability rating, to get my certificate of eligibility for the GI Bill, all those things that I needed time for myself. I needed time to recover. For me, I wanted 2 or 3 months of summer and then go into school to have a refresher. But also having that gap going to school is kind of putting me back into that mindset. I want to do a video on my school supplies. I love watching those videos. I have been binge watching those like crazy before I did this video. It's actually what inspired me on doing this video. There's not that many videos about veterans transitioning into full-time students, so here it is. I am starting as a sophomore in college and I am 24 years old. Usual sophomores are like 20. So I have a 4-year age gap from them. Shouldn't be an issue because next semester I'll be a junior, which the way that the credits are set up is I'm almost a junior, but I just needed 5 more classes to be considered a junior. So a semester. I needed a semester and then I'll become a junior. So that's just how my situation is. I encourage everybody to do as many classes as your TA if you have that ability to get TA through the military. I don't know if they put a cap on it. I know they did a couple of years ago. They might have lifted that, whatever. I encourage you to do school as much as you can, active duty, if you can, because I should have done a lot more classes and I should have been a junior. VA is going to pay you a GI Bill regardless, so that's just something to consider, is use your resources while you're in and then while you're out as well. Right now, this university, Salve Regina, with 43 credits. To be considered a junior, you have to have 60 or more credits. So by the end of this semester, I'll have 59. During the semester, I won't have a lot of time to be filming videos. I mean, I went almost 3 years without filming a video, so whatever. Being a veteran and having all this life experience, quote unquote life experience, I am excited to see how I work in this situation, because I have been in different pressured situations, and I think that school and everybody that I've talked to said that I'll do fine, but you know, I'm still in my head sometimes. Like I said, I wanted to do a school supplies video before my first real semester in college, and then maybe doing one at the end, or maybe at the end of the school year, and see what worked for me and what didn't. I've been watching a lot of videos on how to stay organized, you know, prioritize, whatever, and I'm picking and choosing on what I want to bring. Let me know if you want that video. I'm probably gonna do it anyway, because you know, that's just how I roll. I can probably do a tips on how to get a disability rating from the military, a school supplies video. I'm excited for those too. Please let me know if you have any questions. I'm always down to answer those. Hopefully this wasn't too rambly. I have been criticized before that I do ramble a lot, but I am working on it. Without further ado, thank you for coming and watching this video. I'll see you guys next time. Bye!